Welcome back. My name is John Clark. My fourth writing rule is write clear sentences. Since I was in college, I've seen people become panicked over the mere idea of writing a paper. But I try to advise my panic-stricken friends that a term paper, or blog, or speech, or even book is just a series of sentences. Remember in The Sound of Music when Maria observes, "When you know the notes to sing, you can sing most anything." Writing is like that too. When you know how to write a sentence, you can write most anything. Of course, what Maria doesn't tell you is that singing is hard. Carrying a note or tune is not easy, and neither is writing sentences. But let's start with the basics. Let's begin using my definition of a sentence. Others may have slightly different definitions, but this one works for me. A sentence is a word or group of words that, 1, expresses at least one complete thought, and 2, is devoid of incomplete thoughts. The first part of this definition is common to most definitions of sentence. The second part does not appear in most definitions, but it is critical. Let's go over the first part first. If a group of words does not contain at least one thought, it is not a sentence. Less than one complete thought, Mike ran to. One complete thought, Mike ran. Some students seem to think that if they just use more words together, a sentence will magically form eventually. But that's not true. In the above examples, you can see that adding a word actually turns a sentence into what's called a sentence fragment. Mike ran to is not a complete thought. Mike ran to where? Let's look at another example. Less than one complete thought, ran to the store to pick up some eggs. One complete thought, Mike ran to the store. Ran to the store to pick up some eggs is incomplete because it lacks a subject. Now, of course, a sentence may contain more than one complete thought. Here's an example. Mike picked up ice cream for his little sister. Later that day, he made ice cream sundaes. This is one sentence with two complete thoughts. That's perfectly acceptable, as long as the punctuation is correct. The necessary punctuation here is a semicolon. The one sentence contains a semicolon, but the writer of that sentence could have chosen to use a period and form two sentences instead. This might prompt your question, why put two complete thoughts in the same sentence? Very often, the answer is continuity. The actions in the sentence are so related that it makes sense to put them into one single sentence. Theoretically, a sentence could contain 3 complete thoughts or more. It could contain 50 complete thoughts, or what we might call independent clauses. At a certain point, however, it simply becomes too hard for the reader. Anytime you use more than 2 complete thoughts in a sentence, you should consider whether the writing would be clearer as separate sentences. When I'm writing, I try to read a sentence aloud. If I can't read a sentence in one single breath, that's my indication that the sentence is too long. Let's go over the second part now. A sentence is a word or a group of words that is devoid of incomplete thoughts. We talked a little about this a minute ago, but let's examine this a little bit more. Even if a sentence contains a complete thought or multiple complete thoughts, it may cease to be a sentence if it contains another incomplete thought. Here's an example. Mike picked up ice cream for his little sister. Later that day, he made. This sentence contains one complete thought. If the sentence had stopped there, you would have been okay. But the later that day he made is an incomplete thought. Therefore, the sentence is wrecked and is no longer a sentence. Again, write clear and complete sentences. And then you can write most anything. Now, let's look at lesson 5.